Hey guys, going out for a wander, sort some settings out. So, you join me, southern Russia, on Wednesday 22nd of October I'm going with, at random time of 11:52 a.m. just because. And I'm going to do one of my usual walks around the village and talk in no particular order about a load of random stuff. We'll see how we go. As always, please like, share and subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up button. And feel free to ask me anything you want. So. I've got my list of loads of things. I don't know how I've still got that list. I spent 20 minutes this morning looking for it after I'd literally just made a note on it. Couldn't find it anywhere and literally just put it down. The pen was there, my drink was there, my glasses were there, notepad gone. And I just thought I'd done that bloke thing, you know, where we wander off with something in our hands, put it down without thinking that we've put it down. That's what I thought I'd done. No, turns out I'd been gizmoed. A lovely cat, she's such a cute thing. One of them, Gizmo. But she's the most mischievous, hence the name. She's the most mischievous little monster. And she, whilst I wasn't looking, had taken the notepad, got it onto the floor and then flicked it under the sofa. Of course, the last place I was going to look. So that was the first time I lost it. And the second time I lost it in plain sight. Hidden in plain sight. I put it down and put my phone on top of it. And as you can see, it's a little post-it. So it sits behind the phone perfectly. I couldn't see it for another 10 minutes. Kind of wanted to give up at that point, but here I am, powering through. So the other night, whilst in the sauna, after consuming some lemonade, it's the story I'm going with. After consuming some lemonade, listening to music, I got the classic Dire Straits song pop on in my musical feed, Money for Nothing, and it just made me think, but a thought popped into my head about what that song was about, what it was written about. But that's not the purpose of today's chat and talk. It's kind of, that song was written basically about two working class guys, as I understand it, who were debating musicians on MTV, or musicians, and how they basically got money for nothing, you know. And that's not the case. We all know any musician really, and I mean musician, not Taylor Swifty, I mean musician, that has ground for years to claw their way up the ladder, definitely know what hard work is. Your Swifties, not so much. They're a creation, aren't they? They get all of the help and all of the benefits of being the elite puppet, I suppose. This is exactly what they are, but we'll get to that, amongst other things. So say hello first before we get in. Chrisman, hey. No mate, no news about Rosie at all. Now put a 50,000 ruble reward up for her safe return. and another 50,000 rubles for information about anybody that may have got her or taken her. So, you know, ultimately you just put a poster up saying missing cat. It's just another missing cat poster. Put 50,000 rubles up, and that'll probably increase. People take notice, you know, as the saying says, no interest like self-interest. So, I don't know. It's weird that she's just disappeared off the face of the planet, like she's been abducted by aliens. No noise, no sound, no sight, no trace. Nobody's seen anything, nobody's heard anything. You know, it's literally like somebody's driven past and just snatched her off the, you know, front step kind of thing, thrown her in the car and disappeared to Moscow. It feels like that, you know. Whether that's reality or not, I'm not saying, but that's what it feels like. It's just very bizarre. And what makes us suspect foul play is exactly the same scenario with another Bengal. So there are now 2 Bengals from our village that the same thing has happened. Don't go out, don't go wandering, both neutered, and have just disappeared in the same manner. So, yeah, kind of suspect foul play. Hope I'm wrong. Well, I hope I'm right. I hope somebody looks at 100,000 rubles and goes, quite fancy that. It was him. That'll do. Oh, road rage that was. Did you hear? 2 horns. That's about as much as you get in Russia for road rage or crime. Well, in my Russia, in what I've experienced, that's it. Car pulled out in front of another one. Potentially a issue. One bibbed his horn and the other one bibbed his horn. Done. That's it. Off they go on their day. Won't give it another thought. What would that be like in the UK? Oh, well, anything from horn bibbing to ramming off the road and everything in between. Righto, Zach. Whatever. Gizmo the Gremlin. Yes, Grossman. Exactly that, because she's just like Gizzy. She looks like Gizzy, like Gizmo. Very similar looking. Yeah, behaves in the same sort of manner. Cute and cuddly and fluffy and soft and lovely, with a really mischievous side. So yeah, hence the name. Go away. The shouty bloke. Oh, Cushman, you sound too cheerful for lemonade. No, I didn't say it was last night, it was the other night. And, yeah, no. Last night, just had some pineapple juice, I think. Nothing with it. Very, very sedate for a couple of days. Not like I'm a major drinker, but depends on my mood. It's been a stressful week or so with various things, including the cat. So, yeah. Wild breeze. So let's get off the main road anyway. Took you guys all around the main road the other day. Showed you the shops. Let's wander down here. Yes, morning shouty bloke. Sorry, I jumped the gun a bit. Hope you're well. It's bloody hot again. Look at it, it's cloudy. As my shadow depicts, it's sunny. And I came out thinking, right, just a thin t-shirt. And I better put jogging bottoms on because it'll be hot. Yeah, sorry, cold. Idiot. And yeah, no. Hot. Yeah, what are you doing in Russia? Walking about a bit, eating some nice food, mixing with some nice people. drinking some nice wine, a bit of YouTube. Yeah. Somebody's from China, okay. Oh, lots are held for review, so there's obviously some trollage. Never mind. Let's get rid of you, you're a goon. Oh, gone. Where did she go? Well, if we knew that, she wouldn't be lost. Yeah, just literally disappeared. She's not a cat that leaves the house. 99% of the time leaves the house or the garden, but very occasionally she'll climb to the next door neighbour's garden for a brief period of time, and what we think may have happened is next door neighbour may have had his gate open and she decided to venture out the front and then got spooked, is what we think has happened. And she's either ran off and then has been picked up by somebody, or she got collected. Who knows? We don't know. It's the whole thing. It's just a bit weird. Don't know what's a weird thing to be proud of. But anyhow. Yes, Kusman. Dealt with Bengal cat. Not a Bengal tiger. Logan, I don't believe in anything I say. I believe every word I say. I wouldn't say it otherwise. I'm not a paid shill. I don't do this for money. I don't earn any money from YouTube. Well, I do, I tell you. I post my earnings every month in my Telegram channel. It's about £8, I think, at the moment, per month. So, yeah. Wouldn't keep me in wine for a week, let alone a month. So, yeah, I don't do it for any of those reasons. So ask yourself, why am I doing it? What's the purpose? If I'm not paid, I'm not earning any money from doing it, what am I doing it for? Could it be a noble cause, do you think? Trouble is, the world we live in, that's not a thing, is it? There's no such thing as a noble cause now. Everybody's sceptical of everything. Why is that? Well, because we're permanently let down by people we trust, so consequently we don't trust anybody. So something like this can be seen from people with a lack of critical thought, perhaps, as being fake. And that's the purpose of the live stream, to show that it's not fake. No editing, just me and my camera on my phone, just bouncing along. Yeah. Love from Canada, thank you. Molotov juice box. Yeah, I can't be doing with that. Trump! Yeah. I think if you think Donald Trump is your saviour, you're delusional. I had high hopes for him, as I've said many times. He's just reverted to the standard playbook, hasn't he? And, yeah, much as part of the topic I'll get into today about integrity, it's something that the man doesn't possess, which is rife through the West now. It's a thing of the past, isn't it? Oh dear. I'm the one ignoring all the victims that have brought claims against Trump already. Committed suicide. I don't know what you're on about. I'll get rid of you. I'm not interested in having a debate about the good or the bad of Donald Trump. Personal opinion, isn't it? It's not like he's got a glowing track record, for Christ's sake. You know, just even on a basic level. Look what he did to the markets the other day by declaring a trade war on China and then running back from it. So, yeah, if that's somebody you're putting on your mantle of freedom and democracy, yeah. Here's another moron. Gone. What's the local food like? Sensible question. Molotov. Yeah, nice, fresh, locally grown in the fields around us. No GMO. So just good quality, nice food. Something that we're not really used to in the West. What you will notice about Russian food is that compared to the UK, the flavours aren't as strong. And you sort of go, and it'll take a while for your taste buds to get used to that. Why is that? So everything in the West is artificially enhanced, isn't it? All the flavours, it's all additives. Don't have that here. Shouty bloke, no worries, miserable here. Bloody hot here. It's hot, it's hot, it's hot. Bro's looking for a cat named Rosie. Yeah, I'm a realist. And I don't expect to find her walking across in front of me. We've been out looking many times. Kind of resigned myself to the fact that she's not free. She's either A, dead, or B, in someone's house, wherever that may be. And the chances of us seeing her are pretty slim to non-existent. But I want to be able to sleep at night. And by that I mean I want to know that in 6 months' time I'm not thinking, oh, I should have done a bit more. Because that cat's very special to my wife, and my wife is very special to me, and she's deeply upset at the moment. Can't stop crying, poor girl, and that upsets me. So I need to do everything that I can think of to see if we can find the cat. And don't get me wrong, I'm upset about her as well, but I come from the Spock school of learning. It's logical, Captain. So, yeah, don't do the emotions so much. Okay. Crispin, yeah. You have to discipline your wife. You're on the wrong channel, pal. Yeah, whatever. Is that abuse? Yeah, it's abuse. It's just can't abide rudeness. No need for it. Don't need to be rude, do you? What you achieve? 5 seconds of nonsense, really. There's another one. Sorry, I'm just gonna bear with. I'm just gonna take a breather for a couple of minutes. I didn't bring any water. Not good. Let's take a couple of minutes to eradicate some idiots. Is Russia free? Yep, sure is. Trump doesn't. Trump just thinks about Trump and being some kind of god that he thinks he is. And that's the thing, that's the problem with a lot of Western elites. You know, you can look at their stupidity and think, they can't possibly believe it. But I came to the realisation that they actually do. They do believe it. They do believe their nonsense and their stupidity. And it's like anything, the more you say it, the more you talk it into life, I guess. Maniac, we need Trump. Okay, if you say so. Deluded. Who's that? Dos for Daniel. Oliver Moore, that's quite funny. Try hard, maybe, yeah. Good day from Australia. Hello, George. John Smith. 44 Celsius. Oh, in Sydney today. Well, yeah, you upside downers have got everything round the wrong way, haven't you? So it's your summer now as we go into winter in the northern hemisphere. Rainy day in Vancouver. Yeah, it was when I was in Vancouver, actually. It was raining. But given that Whistler's just up the road and it's always full of snow, kind of why, I suppose. Brad's definitely smoked. Brad Piff. Yeah. Logic seems to be a fleeting quality these days. It sure does. I'll get going in a minute. I just want to tidy it up a little bit. I had dogs, had lots of dogs. I wasn't a cat person at all, actually. I was a dog person. Last dog I had was a Cane Corso. Most amazing thing. I miss him dearly. But they are a real tie. They are a real strain. You know. 2 walks a day, every day. And with a Corso, it's not like you can get somebody to come around and look after them. So yeah, they're hard work. They're very, very rewarding, but equally a lot of hard work. Whereas cats tend to look after themselves a bit more. And yeah, I'm sort of a cat person now. Thanks for moderating the chat. I'd try. You're from the UK. What do you know? Well, more than you. None to some. You are. Well, clearly English isn't your strong point, is it? Muppet. Insta ID. No idea. Don't use it. Oh, there's the classic water, whatever. Boring. Fun fact, the average adult American reads at a grade 6 level. That's the average. Oh, Edward. I never said I was Russian. Aussie Spy, is that a shirt I detect? Well, it's a t-shirt, yeah. But I'm hot, and if I wasn't out in public, you know I'd be wearing the red skin-coloured shirt. Hi from Suriname. Wow. Hi to Aussie Spy. Check out Aussie Spy. Kind of a cool guy. Yeah, whatever. That's a sensible question. Thank you, Toxic Hazard. Morning, mate. Did it take you a while to get used to hundreds of people watching you? I don't really think about it. I don't look at the number of views until afterwards, and that's just sort of oh, okay, well, that must have been an all-right-ish live stream, or the time of day must have been good, or something like that. That's all really. I don't look at how many people are watching and sort of panic about it. But what I will tell you is it is all about getting that first video done. When I first started YouTube, and I'm not adverse to public speaking, I've had to stand up in front of people and give presentations and members of the board, etc. So I'm not adverse to it, but for some reason, starting a YouTube channel and doing the first video, it was horrible. I had about 20 odd goes at the first video and then just went stuff it, posted it anyway. I think it's the perfectionist sort of nature in me. And then it's just got easier and easier, and now I don't even think about it. I just turn the camera on, wander about a bit, talk about whatever I happen to want to talk about, answer sensible questions, ignore idiots, and hopefully show you you guys a side of Russia that you won't have seen before, because it's not Red Square. Let's face it, it's all anybody sees of Russia in the West. Moscow or St. Pete. That's it. Nothing else exists outside of them two, apparently. That's the Western philosophy anyway. Not Russian. But never assume Moscow is Russia, much as London isn't England. Meow. Pussycat, pussycat. It's very muddy this way. Oh well. Sure, I've seen that cat the other day. He's got no ears. He's got no nose. How does he smell? Bloody awful. Did that one as well. Oh, anyhow. If I put my glasses on, I've got half a chance of reading some of these comments. Let's do that. As he ducks under the walnut. Sort of the end of walnut season here. Got loads of them. Yes, anyway, morning toxic. Nice question. Rushing? Nah, just a leisurely stroll. Oi. Russian here, Russian there. Aussie Spy, kind of a cool guy. Oh. Well, send me the script, mate. I didn't read it. That's the trouble. And I still haven't received the cheque. So what do you want me to do? No such thing as free publicity, is there? Anyway, check out Aussie Spy. He's a wonderful guy. Wonderful. Aussie Spy. I'm just trying to get your hair back. We cool. I think it's funny. Neil Armstrong. Getting past the first few videos is the main hurdle. Yeah, Aussie Spy nailed that. Is safety your number one priority? Not here. No. I think in the West it probably is for most heads of family and the men of the household. Safety for their wife, safety for their children, their animals. Why? Well, because we're all scared. Why are we all scared? Well, there's bad things out there, isn't there? There's monsters out there. So we're led to believe. But here, no. Hence the reason I'm a Brit who doesn't speak any Russian, wandering around a Russian village and the back roads, filming. I'm not worried about it. It doesn't mean I'll never have a problem, but I haven't had one. So, you know, speak how you find. Be careful through the mud. Yes. I've got my welly boots on. Well, I've got the best boots in the world. If you're looking for a pair of walking boots, don't muck about with all the cheap stuff. Just spend a bit of money. It's a dead end up there. And buy some Ariat, A-R-I-A-T. Might even be made in the US, I don't know. But they're brilliant. Super waterproof, super comfy. You can wear them in the summer or the winter. Cool in the summer, hot in the winter. And yeah, just, I'm 3 years into these boots, maybe more. And still going, still the same sole, same laces. Although one lace got gizmoed the other day. Anyway, I digress. Why are you, don't know, Robert, use a word that is a word. You need to be careful, Putin might think you're a spy. Oh, according to the West, that's probably true. Russia's not like that though. Do you get 5G in a village? I don't know. That's the honest answer. I have no clue. I don't look at the 4Gs, 3Gs and 5Gs. I'll just see if I've got service. And mine just says LTE, which is the provider, obviously. I do like it in there. Big house, big garage, big guest house, big banya. Just bloody nice in there. Really nice in there. Hey, dog. You sound like someone I know, a farmer in Hampshire. Okay, Chris, you are so lucky. Napa and the surrounding area is so beautiful and people so nice. A few times I was lucky enough to visit, always had a fantastic time. Thank you for sharing these videos. My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. And yeah, that's the difference. People that come here and have been to Russia know the reality. They don't regurgitate Western media because they know how wrong that is. It's not even close to being realistic. Good quality things are worth the price. True story. Where are you headed, Linda? No idea. Sort of left and right and straight and left and right, don't know. No idea. Wander about a bit till my legs fall off. It's usually, well, anywhere between 2 and 4 hours, I guess. A glutton for punishment. I'm going to go this way. LTE is 4G, good enough for most needs. True story. Yeah, that's the thing. If it works, doesn't it? Sky is absolutely gorgeous. Well, I don't know. Looks like I might get rained on. Although the weather app says no rain today, which means absolutely nothing. Very strange here, the weather apps. Nice new section of tarmac. Yes, mate. Yeah, they're doing bits around the village. As you see, from time to time, you'll see some new Type 1 put down, ready, or a new pavement built. It's a constant process. Look at those high quality roads. Yeah. Try expanding your brain a little bit. Anyhow, money for nothing. So, money's the problem, isn't it? That really is the problem. And I'll tell you why. You may have your own theory, but my theory is that we are in a free class system. Much like of old, working class, middle class, upper class. Remember all of that? And it was all frowned upon and done away with as taboo and, you know, not a good way. It should be a class, then we shouldn't, and da 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 da. The reality is none of that exists now. What you have are 3 categories of people. Category 1 I will call Sheeple. These are the former lower class, easily controlled, get up, go to work, pay their taxes, regurgitate whatever the BBC tells them to regurgitate, watch the football, you know, that kind of thing. Not saying that watching the football defines you, but it's certainly one pastime for a particular group of people. Next you have what I call you lot, the interneters. Ready to move in, look. Yeah, just a lick of paint should be good. Yeah, you lot, me, the interneters. What are we? Well, we're not necessarily... It's cool. We're not necessarily learned. We're not necessarily... What's the word? Somebody will tell me. Not educated. Anyhow. Academic. There we go. We're not necessarily academics. We're worldly wise. We understand that common sense isn't that common. And us interneters have got to a point in our lives where we've seen time and time and time and time again that we've been lied to, and we've gone beyond the initial thing that we've all done, which is, well, nothing I can do about it, so I'm not going to worry about it. And we've all done that. Some of us probably still do to a degree, but we seem to have gone beyond that, and we're fed up with it. And we now find ourselves starting to look at the stories that we've been told as headlines and read behind them and go, well, that's a load of bollocks. And we find ourselves doing this, either doing a live stream or watching a live stream from another country that we've been told is the devil. Why? As I say, we're not believing the bullshit anymore. We have awoken. We are the awake. Well, I call us the interneters, because that's where we all congregate. That's where we all meet up. And then the final group, commonly known as the elite, but I call them the evil, because there's nothing elite about them. Elite represents something good, fantastic, wonderful, top of the tree, something you should strive to be. My interactions with elite people have been slightly less than positive, I would suggest. Apologies for the wind, it will go when we go around here. Yes, from what I've seen of the evils, he's just that. That's why I call them the evils, because they are just monsters. The days of integrity, well, probably never even visited these people. They wouldn't understand, they wouldn't know how to spell the word, would they? Back in my father's day, Britain was a place of integrity, whether you were a gangster or a good boy, but pretty much your word was your word, especially if you were East End Londoner, where my family comes from. And that's how I was brought up by my dad. Your word's your word, son. Word's your bond. Give me your hand, I'll give you my heart. That kind of thing. But that's gone, isn't it? And that's evident with, you know, it's in plain sight really. It's evident with the so-called celebs, your Taylor Swifties, and all of that other lot. Your M&Ms, tasty sweet, other sweets are available. You know, these people that can just be bought to go and stand on the stage for 20 seconds and tell everybody how wonderful Kamala Harris is, or how fantastic Donald Trump is, or whatever figurehead is being wheeled out. So, yeah, there's no integrity in those people. So, their word means nothing. They're of no value. And Trump is a good example of that. he wouldn't know how to spell integrity. And if it was a car and it ran over him, he'd still say, what was that? Because it doesn't matter. Because there's no accountability for these people. So they'll say what they want and do what they want. Because it suits them. It's got nothing to do with how they're perceived. They'll probably let their own family members down from time to time. I'll do that over my rotting corpse. Well, these people don't care. And they certainly don't care about me and you. So that's our classes. That's our class system. Depressing, isn't it? But where they've previous monsters and the evils have come along to wipe out us interneters, us middle class, if you like. And by middle, I'm just saying it's the one in between the two others. They're finding a harder battle than they thought, because the people are awake. So this is going to be quite disjointed because my notes are all disjointed, so yeah, go with it, bear with. So one thing I have noticed, and I won't say this is factually correct of all Russians that have left Russia, but certainly a good percentage. Good percentage of Russians that left Russia left a number of years ago. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. But because they've got a Russian passport, they tell people they're Russian, and people say they're Russian. They've got a Russian passport, you speak Russian, you sound Russian, therefore you're Russian. And I've discovered with this country that that's not what makes a Russian. What makes a Russian, obviously, is your passport to a degree, but it's really who you are as a person, what your values are, what your morals are. Which brings us round to the word integrity again, sincerity, which is in abundance here. Case in point, people will just do stuff by word of mouth. Oh, I nearly went base over apex then. they'll let you take stuff, pay me later. They'll do upgrades to your house, pay me later. It's that kind of thing. So that's the world that they live in. It's not the world we live in anymore, unfortunately. But what you find with these Russians, in inverted commas, in air quotes, that have left Russia, they now have become the leading authority on Russia in the West. Because the West has lost all understanding of Russia and Russians, and you can argue that perhaps they never did, but there were certainly diplomats decades ago that did understand a lot more. And, you know, you can still hear these dissenting voices now talking about Russia and explaining that it's not what the West is saying. But they're gone. They're all in the shadows now, and what you're left with is, is anybody else like me, where you look at what a politician is saying, or a journalist, use that word loosely, and just think, well, firstly, are you mental? Second, do you actually believe that? Third, why are you lying so much? That's basically your script, isn't it? That's where we go. So consequently, these Russians are the ones that they go to get their information on Russia. And a lot of these Russians are, I suppose you want to put a label on them, liberal, are they? You know, don't shave their armpits maybe. Soap dodgers. Keep their kids at home. Don't believe in school. No. The education system might be crap, but at least they get to socialise with other kids, as opposed to sitting at home and conforming and either being a glorified babysitter for their younger sibling or trying to be an adult at the age of 9, because that's all they've got as a point of reference, because they don't go to school and mix with 100 other kids of the same age, running around, falling over, ripping their trousers, rolling in the mud. Wouldn't be allowed to do that at home anyway. So, yeah, these Russians that have left, they become mouthpieces, and invariably it's quite toxic and not factually correct, because their vision of Russia isn't reality. It may have been their reality when they left, but it's not now. But that's all they know, because they haven't been. Or if they have been, they've been to the same house to see the same person for a week, to go to the same shop, and then not engross themselves in the latest news and culture. Russia bad, must leave, I'm only here to say hi. So, yeah, these Russians that have left, they've gone to the West, and they've seen when they went that the West is magical, it's wonderful, it's fantastic, so much better than Russia. And why is that? Well, that's the reason for the title of this live stream. It's money for nothing. Because if you live in the West and you think it's wonderful, you're either in the sticks somewhere, keeping yourself to yourself, living a quiet and peaceful existence and thinking, it's great, yeah, I like this patch of woods, it's nice. Or you're very well off. Because if you're very well off, you're in the top percentile of what people call the elites, or I call the evils. It doesn't necessarily mean that a private person that's well off is evil. It just means that they're living the same life that these elites do. And by that I mean not the real one that me and you live. They live in a world completely different. They're not going to Tesco's for a pint of milk. They're not walking past homeless camps or beggars or having to worry about crime, because the restaurant that they go to, that they're chauffeur driven to or helicoptered into or whatever, I'm being pedantic but you get the point, they don't see or pass any of that. Too busy supping on the wine in the back of the car. So those Russians that have gone to the West and are in a wealthy position still view Russia the same way, but they are starting to wake up. As the West gets more and more authoritarian, those Russians are starting to wake up and sort of think, hello, what's going on here then? What's all this digital ID and bank accounts? Why have I got to tell somebody that I'm transferring money to go and buy a yacht? Why have I got to show proof of funds? Why? And they're starting to wake up to it all. Not all of them. Some of them were just country skip, weren't they? They just toddle off somewhere else, and every month or so toddle off to another country. But the point I'm making is these people don't live a life that we do. And by we, I do absolutely accept and fully understand that I am in a privileged position, because I'm retired at the ripe old age of 55. I get to do this stuff, wander about a bit. Anyhow, see if I can catch up. Probably can't. I'll have a go. Christmas on it. Yeah, exactly. Russia isn't dependent on separating classes. No. Doesn't work like that. It's very evident when you wander around a village. Find a brand new, very, very expensive house next to a 100-year-old shack. I don't worry about separation of class. Dear, oh dear, you guys are having a big old chat, aren't you? Yes, this is Russian village. Gostogoyevskaya. Shh. Yeah, Gostogoyevskaya. Just outside Anapa, ANAPA, close to the Black Sea. 50 miles from Crimea. Chickens, rural Russia. Real Russia, if you like. Big house. Nice. Tricks. Yeah. Anyhow, so by saying that about Russians, I'm not implying that I know all Russians, certainly not, and I'm not implying that that fits every Russian that I know or don't know. It's just an observation. And, you know, those Russians have really been poisoned by the ideology of the West. And when obviously they first went there, everything was great and wonderful. Maybe they went from a life in Russia that wasn't so great at the time 20 years ago. But the trouble is, that's their mentality and that's what they're holding on to. And Western media kind of reinforces that and uses them as points of reference, much like, you know, fellow co-workers. You know, it's that old saying, isn't it? I know about Russia, my mate's Russian. Much like I'm not homophobic, I've got a friend that's gay. Well, I'm not racist, my mate's black. It's that kind of logic, isn't it? It's the same thing. So, there we go. Yeah, it doesn't mean that you know or you don't know. It's just a thing that we use, isn't it? Yes, we've done our classes, haven't we? Let's peel off the post-it, put it in the pocket, and we'll go on to the next page. Doggy barky. Money. So, why is money so important? Well, you tell me. Because you're told it is. Strive, achieve, thrive, do better, secure your family, get financial freedom, work hard, blah, blah. Why? Why are we told that? So we can earn money to spend money, isn't it? And one thing the West is very, very good at, and has been good at, is creating ways for you to spend that money. But ultimately, if everything has a price, once you've priced everything, you've then got to start inventing stuff. You know, a wheel's got a price, a tyre's got a price, a trailer's got a price, a house has got a price. And there are variations to that, and you can expand on that infinitely-ish. But it comes a point when people understand those things. So what the West has to then do is invent new stuff. Some of which is in the form of stealth taxes. Some of which is in the form of ideologies. Flag waving. Letter supporting your LGs. But what that does is it makes us a society of valueless people where everything can be bought and there isn't any consequence if we're bad, and if we cock up it just means that we can't buy something that we didn't need anyway. So yeah, the words, like I say, family and value and respect, they don't mean anything. It's the Bart Simpson approach, especially with the evils. And, you know, just look at any of the evils at the moment. And if you're new to the stream, when I'm talking evils, I mean in the elites that some people call them. But they are the Bart Simpsons. I didn't do it, nobody saw me do it, can't prove a thing. That's what they are. Now, people with values and integrity, people that can't be bought, don't work like that. And they're getting less and less. And these people are getting more and more, because the more that they realise they're not accountable, the more accountable they become. But they're never held to book. New road, Aussie Spy, look, see? They're never held to book, so they just get worse. And this is a circle that goes round and round with them, where they talk their book, where they believe what they're saying, because they've repeated it so many times. And, you know, if you go back and look at their first video, they'll be slightly edgy, a little bit left to centre, and then they gradually get worse and worse. Because, you know, like anything, if you let somebody take the piss, they'll carry on taking the piss. They don't have a sudden burst of morality and think, oh, shouldn't really have done that, although I've done it 20 times already. They just go, well, I've done it 20 times already, I know how to do it now, it's easier, so just carry on. That's where we are with these people. There's no integrity. It's the Bart Simpson approach. I've met them in business. I've sat across big tables discussing big deals and watched them literally barefaced lie. And by that I don't mean, you know, that's been my opinion. That's been fact. I've absolutely known, I've been part of the conversations where, you know, people of standing, you would suggest, three-piece suits, heads of, and you sit there almost with your mouth open going, well, that's not true. That's literally bullshit. Now, it's probably why I never achieved glittering heights in my career, because I was always the idiot that would go, well, I'm going to stop you there, mate. Whilst I appreciate you may be worth millions or responsible for millions, what you're saying now is a load of bollocks. I was that guy. I was that annoying thorn in the side. And I'll continue to be. Because a way to value yourself really is, if you have a load more money than you have now, what will you do? Will it change you? Will you move to a mansion or Miami Beach? What will you do? Ask yourself that question and do it on your own in the bathroom when you're cleaning your teeth. Just say, if I win the lottery tomorrow, will it change me? Don't ask yourself what's the first thing you're going to buy. We all do that. Oh, I'm going to go and buy a Lambo. Oh, I'm going to buy a Ferrari. Oh, I'm going to buy a boat. I'm going to cruise. No, just ask, will it change you as a person? And for me, no. I will still be obnoxious. I will still say what I think, and to hell with the consequence. And I will not be bought. So, when I'm accused of being a Putin puppet or a shill, paid Russian propagandist, I just laugh at that, because I can't be bought. I do this purely, I like talking really, and I'm retired, and if I stay at home the wife will find me something to do. So it's this, or make something bastard. Vineyards we're heading towards it. Yeah, anyhow. Yes, as I say, the The goal is the reward, not the journey getting there in business. They don't care who you've got to trample on. No friends in business is a saying. I don't subscribe to that. I always found that if you were fair with people, you got a better result. If you just trampled all over them like a jackboot thug, you still got a result. But the next time you needed to achieve a result, it was that little bit harder. And just generally got a little bit harder each time. Because people just pushed back. They had their hair to wash if you needed them to stay late, or mum's cousin's budgie's birthday or something. But if you treated people fairly and you were good to them and you needed them to go the extra mile, and like I say, you treated them well, 9 times out of 10 they go, yeah, sure. Even if it was a pain, they go, oh, bloody hell. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll do. Or they'd offer a solution and say, well, how about if I come in at 5 in the morning? I used to get that with my team. But that doesn't stem from jackboot thuggery. That stems from fairness. It's what these elites, these evils, don't understand. Because they get results with jackboot thuggery, they think that's the only way. And it's not. Let's go and have a look at the vineyard. We've got lots around us, I might as well show you one. Yeah, nice guys finish last, as they say. Yeah, they do. Not in the long run. I've seen lots of these types of people throughout my career that talk just shit to the right person. You know, say one thing to someone or a different thing to somebody else. You know, or they'll come and pick your brains and steal your idea and regurgitate it as their own. But ultimately, karma always bites. A tractor over there, look. Funny place to park it. There's my list. Russell, Russell, another page is gone. So let me get on to Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson. Well. Apologies for the wind, but as you can see, we're right on the edge of the village now, where the vineyards start, and this new development. Newish. There's no way to go up that way, and I don't think there is that way, so I should go back. But yes, Tommy Robinson. When I first saw that guy, he made my cock twitch. Not in a wanton kind of way. The kind of feeling that you get when you're a bit wary of heights and you find yourself standing on the edge of a cliff, or you're looking at one of those crazies that hang off of these 800-foot cranes by one hand whilst filming a TikTok. You know, that kind of feeling. There was something about him. My spider senses went, bad man. And I've always been very nervous of people using symbolism to group people together, i.e. rally behind the flag. And back in my father's day, there was a meaning to it. And it was a good and just meaning, you know, fighting the evil. Certainly at ground level, may not necessarily be in politician level, but at ground level, yeah. Let me spin you round. But now, it's all about control. Going back to your Taylor Swifts and all those other people that are paid to shill the politicians or the project that the politicians are into. And the likes of Tommy Robinson, or him specifically, I believe, are a tool of the establishment. There's nothing noble about him, but much like the Borg in Star Trek, it's one entity and they evolve and they learn. And they've learnt that the Zelensky prototype has failed. It's got a few glitches, not worked out exactly how they'd hoped. It was looking good in the beginning. It's all gone a bit Pete Tong now. And your Taylor Swift approach, again, was good in the beginning, worked well. But us lot, the interneters, are working out that that's just, you know, she come from nowhere. What, because of her magical singing voice? There's a million people that have got a better singing voice than her. No, because she was the chosen one. That's why. The tool. And that's what Tommy Robinson is. Why? Because there's no patriotism in the UK. It's been slowly eroded over the years. And the days of, you know, a handshake meaning something and people sticking to their word have gone. You still find the occasional guy. My best friend is like that. But generally, that doesn't exist anymore. Integrity means nothing. It only matters on the result. And so the elites have worked out that, you know, just pumping out another celebrity, another Z-lister that they turn into an A-lister, get the media behind, that hasn't got any substance. And that's always been all right before, but now they've worked out that us interneters can get information and suss it out, and they can realise that these celebrities are really shells. They're just husks. There's nothing to them. They have no moral fibre. They're just prostitutes. They just sell themselves to whoever's going to pay them to go on stage for 30 seconds and talk shit. So, what do? If the playbook has stopped playing, got to come up with a new playbook, haven't they? And that's it. These evils, they constantly evolve, as I say, like the Borg. They have to. Much like the cove of the id virus. It attacks in different places because it's worked out that it's, you know, a frontal assault can be easily dealt with. So much like the current Western view of Russia, they tried the frontal assault through the Ukrainian door, and computers say no. So now let's rope Finland into it. Let's rope Sweden into it. Let's try and get some fronts going in Georgia. Let's get a bit of regime change going on down there. And Iran. And anywhere else that we can generally poke the bear. Because poking him in the belly hasn't worked. In fact, the bear's got a little bit fed up with that. He's starting to growl a little bit, come out of hibernation, and he's a bit hungry. So now they're poking him in the foot with a fawn. Look at that horrible thing. Yeah. Bloody furry, that one. Ugh. Bigger than it looks, you know. Should have seen it. It's got tattoos all up its legs. All spelt wrong. Proper hard. So yeah. So now what they need is a Robin Hood. They need a people's champion. Because the ones that they offer up, us interneters have worked out that they are just puppets. They're not real. They are just controlled shills, and they've sort of given the game away, really, by just going that little bit too psycho, that little bit too far. Robert De Niro used to be great, didn't he? Now look at him. Just one example. But they've worked out that that doesn't work anymore. So they've got to up their game if they want to carry on controlling us interneters, which is where the controls are coming in for the internet. Got to prove your age to look at anything now. Going on about digital IDs and digital currency, and everybody's lumping the whole lot together. Digital currency is not the enemy. It's merely a tool that could be very, very useful to humanity if used correctly. The enemy might be the people behind it. Much like a hammer. It's a tool, a very useful tool, but it can be used for evil, can't it? And this is your Tommy Robinson. He's our new day Robin Hood. But he's not robbing the rich to feed the poor in a monetary sense. He's playing with our emotions. And if you remember Tommy Robinson when he started out, well, it was the personification of evil. Just a racist. That was the badge he was branded with. Because the elites, the evils, didn't like him. Oh, he's going to get some people together. We don't want that. We can't have people grouped together. We need to put him down, like David Icke. Need to turn them into crazies or just horrible people. And that's where he was, out on the fringes. But then he changed his game. Why did he change his game? Interesting, isn't it? I think he just woke up one morning and thought, oh, I need to start loving my Muslim brothers. Or do you think he was steered that way? Well, I think he was steered that way. It's my opinion. That's all. Don't have to agree with it. But now this guy is rallying people behind the flag. That's bad. That is not going to be a good outcome for us normals, and more importantly for our children, because the West doesn't have an army to go and do what they say they want to do, doesn't have an army to walk the walk for them when they're doing the talk. Russia bad, we must destroy Russia. It's all just words, because they can't. They don't have the military might. So what do? Well, the likes of Macron and Starmer and Merz, etc., et al., Ursula von der Leyen, if they say you must sign up for military service now to go and fight Russia, are you going to do it? Is anyone going to do it? No, of course not. Everybody's going to go, are you mental? I'm not going to go and die for you. But if you introduce a bit of patriotism that's long gone, if you get the people that are still holding on to that belief and get them behind a figurehead, a Robin Hood, get patriotic again, get lots of flags waving, tell everybody what a rebellion this is against the establishment, what you'll end up with is a load of people believing that they're going to do the right thing and it's for a just cause. And it won't be. They'll just be sent to die for nothing, for some politician's bullshit. And that's where we are with that. So I'm not a fan of Mr. Robinson, quite the opposite in fact. I see through him, I see through his veil of lies, I see through his nice persona and his turncoat appearance. I see him for what he is. He's a government tool, and worse than that, he's an agent. He's a bad man. Don't get fooled by him. What else? I'll get to your questions in a minute, but I'm not going to get to all of them because unless I sit down for half an hour, I'm a long way behind. But I've gone on a bit of a rant and a waffle because that's what I wanted to do today. So I'm sorry if you've posted a question or you've made a comment and I've not read it out, and then you've wrote another comment saying I haven't read out your comment. But this is real, this is live. This is the 22nd of October 2025 at 1:07 p.m. in southern Russia. That's what it is. 1:07 p.m. being Moscow time because that's our time zone here. But I will try and get to your questions. I'll find a perch at some point and see if I can catch up. But yes, as I say, regarding the Tommy Robinson, he's emerging because of Zelensky, because of that prototype, that Churchillian figure that they just pushed a little bit too far. They just, not him himself, but just the whole narrative around him being such a wonderful creature. It's just an actor, much like Robin Hood or the actors that play him. It's not based in reality. But that was the prototype, and they just went a little bit too far with it. But, you know, as they say, you have to push it until it breaks so you know how far you can push it. Push people's limits, stretch them a bit. It's a corporate term. A bit of stretching. Take people beyond what they think are their limits. And then stretch them a bit more. And if they break, if they snap, then you back off a little bit. That's the philosophy. And that was him. And it appeared to work in the beginning. All of a sudden, Russia bad. And here is our hero. And it worked too well. It caught them all out. They weren't expecting it to work as well as it had. Mainly because they'd have picked a better stooge if they had expected it to work as well than some idiot comedian with a piano playing past. They'd have picked somebody with a little bit more fibre instead. But like I say, they weren't expecting it to be as good. The result, they weren't expecting that. And then all of a sudden, it kind of ran away with itself. And all of these people then had a choice. They either pull the plug or they go with it. And that was the point that they all in the EU got together and danced around the fire of burning Russia. Because this is going to work. We can make this work. This is going better than we ever dreamed. Fantastic. Let's break up Russia. We're going to be rich. Rich, I tell you. Just went a little bit too far, didn't they? They had a good deal on the table. Ain't got it anymore. But that was the path they chose. Deal with the Russians or deal with the Russians. Didn't work. So, as that little story comes to a close, over the coming months, maybe years, as more people die, the hope is that maybe the bruise that they've inflicted on Russia, they can keep pressing the bruise and making Russia go, ouch. That's the hope, because they realise that they can't cut it. They can't remove the bruise. They tried to. Yeah, that didn't work. So now they're faced with the fact that they might actually have to back up their words, their rhetoric. We'll fight the Russians. Well, it's funny when it comes out of a politician's mouth, because it's a typical example of the English language where a particular word doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means. And a politician's we just really means you. There's no we involved. Won't be that politician being involved in fisticuffs at dawn, or his friends, and certainly not his family. No, they've got important exams, or they'd love to help, but they're out saving starving children in Africa, or some other bullshit. So it's never a we, it's a you. The former middle class. Which brings us full circle back to the interneters, us lot. So we've woken up, haven't we? We're a little bit more worldly wise to that bullshit. And that's going to be a problem for them. And that's why they need Tommy the Rob. That's his proper name, isn't it? He's going to rob you of your freedom whilst you think he's getting it for you. Tommy the Rob. Yeah. So that's your latest playbook. Bleak, isn't it, at times, but yeah. Anyhow, this is my ramblings. It's just my thoughts. It's my opinion. That's all it is. It's not cast in stone. I'm not saying it's factually correct at times. Maybe some of it is. Who knows? But disclaimer. Much like past performance is no guarantee of future returns, nothing I say here is necessarily true. Could be just for fun, for entertainment value. You decide. Much like looking at the camera now, whilst I'm wandering around in a t-shirt. Whew, and it's hot. I'll go back over that side now. Anyway, let me have a look at some questions. Oh, guys, I'm just going to pick a spot to start from because you guys have been really cool and stuck a load of questions and comments in. Probably some not so cool. But if I attempt to go back to where I left off, given the fact that I've been on a 40-minute rant, I'll never catch up with them all, and half of you fall asleep. So let's go back to about Lucifer the Harpist. Lucifer. I assure you Tartarian existed, and it's also so okay, that's a bit of geography and history. Did the Tartarians blah blah, no idea, wasn't there. Same in the States. Since the time of Great Catherine staying in Russia, many things have changed, but Russia is still the great. Shadowboxer, I worked in Hollywood. It's demonic and people aren't aware of the tech, human augmentational synthetic biology. No, it's much like military prowess. What we think we know the military has is a long way behind what they actually have. I was made aware of that years ago with technology. A friend of mine worked in a particular industry, and I'm going back over 30 years, and he told me about a sheet of special, let's call it polycarbonate. It wasn't, but let's call it that. A sheet of special material that had the ability to be used as a TV, effectively, and it was very, 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 very thin, and came on a roll, and you could pretty much use it at any size, and you could stick it on your ceiling or on your wall, and you could roll it up and take it around your mate's house. And that technology he was talking about is just filtering through now, and he was talking about it 30 odd years ago. So whatever you think you know about current tech, you're a long way behind. And I'm sure that's true in Hollywood, given that that's a Western tool for control. It's difficult to watch any Hollywood films now, to be honest. Once the whole rainbow coloured flag thing started and, you know, Russians are bad, once that realisation hits, it's very difficult to look at Hollywood as anything other than a propaganda mouthpiece. And that's not saying that every person in it believes that, understands that, is aware of that. There's some people that believe they create art for art's sake. But just because you're a small cog in a giant gearbox and you're good, doesn't mean the gearbox works. Doesn't mean the gearbox is good. It might be stuck in reverse. This is what a small village near Moscow in Russia looks like. Well, okay, only if near Moscow, in this case, is about 1,600 kilometres. We're quite a long way from Moscow here, but yeah, I'll get what you're saying. Dmitry? Yeah, let's try with that. Dmitry. Alexeyev. Small village in Moscow in Russia looks like, and at the same time Russia has more than 15,000 sanctions imposed on it. We can handle it. Yeah. Did sanctions hurt? Of course they did. Did Russia roll over and die? Nah. Did the Russian population go, oh my god, we're doomed, we surrender? Nah. And if you think that they were going to do that, which some of the evils certainly did, they don't know Russians. These people don't surrender. They don't understand the word. It's for use for other people, not for Russians. Balls, Triker Bandito. Chill on the diatribe and read some of your listeners' comments and react to that, if I may say. Okay, well, I've just reacted to you. Thanks for the instruction. I answer to no one, apart from my wife and my kids at times. Wow, that's deep, Shadow Boxer. You sound very knowledgeable on the subject. I bow down to your knowledge. Ian Holmes, hi mate. He's lost his mind, he's erased his credibility. Who? Me? Lost my mind years ago. Didn't know I had any credibility. Maybe you're talking about the cokehead, I don't know. The little green goblin. Or maybe you're talking about the orange man, I don't know. Digital twins, okay. When Ofcom revoked Russian television to enable to be broadcast in 2022, I knew there was a clear problem. Yes, indeed. Yeah. If they don't want you to look at something, that's the thing you need to look at. It's much like banks. When banks poo-poo something and say, oh, you don't want to be interested in that, stay away from that, that's risky. You'll lose all your money. Do not put your money in that. We're here to protect you. When a bank says that to you, that's the thing you put your money in. Because they do. It's exactly what they do. They tell you not to do it whilst they can. Because the minute you jump in, it pushes the bloody price up and they're still trying to buy it. It's most inconvenient. As children, we Russians were captivated by the works of Walter Scott. We particularly enjoyed Ivanhoe, the books about King Arthur and Robin Hood. Yeah, and I think a lot of Russians still have that fairy tale kind of feeling of the UK, of England. And as I always say, England is a magical place. As long as you don't live there. Or as long as you don't live in general population. If you're one of the evils, if you're one of the 1%, then you live in a different England. You live in the magical England, the tourist England, you know, where everything's wonderful and the food's great and the service is wonderful and, you know, you have a nice car and all of that kind of stuff. And that's the opinion that most Russians have, I think, of England. It's that scenario. But as I always say, England is a magical place if you're visiting. But if you're like us interneters and you live in it, in the real world, in the real England, it's getting less and less magical by the day, isn't it? And more authoritarian, more and more totalitarian, more and more evil, which is why I'm telling you to watch out for Tommy Robinson. He has evil intent, that man. People don't know philosophers and scientists were demonised. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anybody that spoke out against the establishment was automatically demonised throughout history. Why? Well, if they were talking rubbish, they would have just been ignored. You know, because everybody would have seen that they're just a crackpot. The problem is they weren't talking rubbish, were they? So that's why they got attacked. That's why they got took apart. That's why they got iked. And the same is today. Still the same thing. The difference is we have this wonderful thing called the internet, where you guys can actually look for yourselves. I haven't necessarily got to be force-fed something. You can go and look with your own eyes. And you can actually go, where's this? It's not what I was expecting. Anyhow, don't get me started. I'm in UK also. Cool. Behind what flag? Well, the one that's been waving. Any flag, really. You know, the first thing, if you want to push an ideology, the first thing is you've got to get a badge of honour, haven't you? You've got to get a flag, just so people can now post it in their bio, or wear it as a patch on their jacket, or hoist it up their flagpole. Ooh, misses. Just think about it. Think about flags. What are they achieving? We don't always fly flags outside of homes, but some of us do. Yeah, Dimitri, here in Russia, they have lots and lots of different flags for different commemorative days. You know, Russia Day, Navy Day, they're different things. And some people, you know, maybe an ex-naval officer or something will fly a naval flag on Navy Day. The flags I'm talking about are the false patriotism flags that's going on in the West, trying to create patriotism again, to be used as a tool to send your children off to their death. Show them a flag, get them to love it, get them to believe that it's good, and then you can send them overseas to die. And they'll be dying, and you know, they died with honour. Really? Okay. Ask the families of the well, I was going to say the mercenaries, but to be honest, mercenaries have zero value really in this world. you're prepared to go and kill people for money, then, you know, you have no integrity, do you? You're just bought. It's not a noble cause, it's just money. But, yeah, go and ask the people whose children went off because they believed in a cause, not because they were doing it for money, not the mercs, not the government stooges, but the innocent people that got propagandised and went to die, some of them lasting hours. Ask their families, in the cold light of day, was their death honourable? Do they still stand by their decision? Or are they struggling to sleep at night knowing that they took them to the airport? I'd argue it was the latter. All talking heads, Shadowbox. So we used to have good hero veneration stories with more victims in the West. Now it's TikTok biological convergence. Well, yeah, it's a new source, and this is what they're trying to get hold of, isn't it? It's a bit hard to control the internet. It's pretty big. Sort of ran away with itself. The information is there for all to see. So if they can't control the information, they want to control your access to it. So they've tried the narrative shaping with all your celebs, and people are wising up to that. All the endorsements. Now we've got the Tommy, the Robin Hood. We're going to have a bash at that one. But in the meantime, we've tried to control the information. But there's idiots like me that sort of come over here and turn the camera on. It kind of messes with the narrative, doesn't it? So if they can't control the actual individual information, they've got to control the way you access it. And that's what's happening with your internet in the West. Gradually your freedom to just be able to sit in front of your computer and type in something and look at it. No, we're doing this for your own protection. We're not going to let you see this, 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 this and this. For your protection. Now, this is much like the we means you, your means us. Zigga Zagga, true words, brother. Thank you. But don't tell the Muslims that we don't want them taking back what's once theirs, all of Russia and America. Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's all part of the, you know, the generation of the narrative, isn't it? Lots of Muslims here in Russia. Lots of Muslims in my village. Lots of Christians in my village. Kind of all look the same. Kind of all behave the same. And that's what you're not allowed to see. West doesn't want you seeing that because obviously they've spent a long time, an awful lot of effort convincing everyone that that's a problem, so that we can all get patriotic and send our kids off to die. You see the circle, don't you? Reality is, if people are given a good environment and people are treated equally, doesn't matter what race, creed, colour or religion they are. We need Mosley, not Robinstein. Oh, yeah, Robinstein. That's yeah. Given his recent trip, that's probably quite apt, isn't it? I wonder who paid for that. And by who paid for it, I mean actually paid for it, not who on face value paid for it. Where am I today? I'm in our village, Gostogoyevskaya, just outside the seaside resort town of Anapa, A-N-A-P-A. In your Google Maps, you'll see us on the coast of the Black Sea, about 50 miles from Crimea. Joey Farr, why are you there? Because it's better. Because I have a life here that I couldn't imagine having. I eat good food. I live with good people in a nice house. The swimming pool and the sauna. Couldn't have that back in the UK. Bloody weather wouldn't allow it for a start. Leather belt. Greetings, do you still hold XRP? Well, I always say you should never talk about your holdings. But what I will say is, I learned about XRP, or started learning about XRP in 2016. I'm still learning about it today. It's a 9-year, nearly a 10-year journey now. You can probably deduce from that. No need to destroy Russia. Russia will come to the table. Russia's been at the table. It's never left the table, Susan. That's just a Western narrative. Russia needs to be forced to the table. Russia's fed up with sitting at the table on its own, going, we're here, ready to negotiate. Have been since day one. Have a word with Bojo. Yeah. No chance of that, sweetie. It's a pity that we Russians fought alongside the British against the German Nazis, but now England supports the Ukrainian Nazis who collaborated with Hitler. Yeah, it's a pity that as an Englishman I'm tiled with that brush. Especially given the sacrifice my dad made. That's why I'm very anti-nasties. I saw what it did to my father, saw what he went through. Let's get over here. Oh, had a bit of a walk, haven't we? How long have we been on? Oh, hour and 40. Probably about 7 kilometres I've wandered. The shouty bloke, Tiny Tommy, has been on Israel's payroll since the start. The EDL was originally the English and Jewish Defence League. You can check it with Company's House. There you go. Yeah, my spider sense is not often wrong. Usually quite a good judge of character. Oh, Tommy, Tommy. Certainly do know what terrorism is. Know how to deal with it as well. The shouty bloke. Ironically, many of the powerful in Israel are actually Ukrainians who have changed their names to Hebrew. Yeah. Well, Netanyahu changed his name, didn't he? It's not his real name. If that's what the head of state has done. Oh. Ziggy Zaggy. Stay in Russia, mate. Tommy Robinson. Pass. Morgan. It's just rude, isn't it? Joey Farr. Who's deleting the free speech? What are you on about? Free speech. You want free speech? Start your own YouTube channel. But just stay within the YouTube guidelines. Otherwise you can't have free speech. But no, I'm the censor on here. So yeah, I do delete some comments. If it's just rude, you know, can't see the point of it. Also, YouTube does pull a lot. If you guys start swearing or adding numbers in or URL links and stuff like that, YouTube gets to it probably before I do, long before I do actually. So there's a lot of stuff that YouTube pulls that I don't even get a chance to look at. I do see a lot of stuff on videos held for review. I've got a little folder in YouTube, held for review. Most people don't bother to read it, but I do. I go and look at it every now and again. Sometimes there's nothing in there, sometimes there's 30 comments. And it is weird how the algorithm works, because I would say out of those 30 comments that are held for a review, i.e. not published, 5 of them will be absolutely completely harmless. They'll just be something like, great video, really enjoyed it. You know, literally completely harmless. And they'll get held for review for some reason. Now, a couple of people have suggested that that happens to them a lot, so maybe it's their end and not mine. But then the rest of it is just links to other people's channels or abuse. Ugh. All my old bones. I'm getting old for this. Graf Panzer. Wonder where you come from. What the fuck is a plastic Russian? Go and look at my YouTube channel, an introduction to my channel, and that will tell you. And then you'll be enlightened, won't you? I find it interesting just how many former Soviet countries are in talks with BRICS. I can see the EU losing many member states in the future. Well, rapidly losing their grip on Hungary. Not going well, is it? Setting off some fireworks probably wasn't a good idea. It might be a political goal it might achieve, but it's going to harden the population, I think. And then doing the same in Romania wasn't a smart move, was it? That really wasn't a smart move. Managed to get regime change in Romania, got them on side. But, you know, when you've got a loose cannon, a piano-playing dick wanker who runs around, is out of control at times, you have to reap the benefits of that and the consequences, don't you? English mad cow. Russia isn't the problem. USA and UK are to blame. Mainstream media is a lying propaganda machine. True story. Ziggy Zaggy. I'm boring, am I? Okay. Dos for Danny, mate. Don't hold you up. Stop the boats, okay. The funny thing is that YouTube blocked the flag of England, not the United Kingdom for some reason. Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? It's all about the flags. Yeah, just your opinion. Sure is. It's your... Yeah, thank you for the spelling correction. Englishman, look how clean and cultured everything is. This is to the myth of supposedly wild Russians. They're truncated anyway. Greetings from son of Byzantine Empire. Hollywood. Yeah, she probably would. Boiling, stop saving that toilet paper flag. I agree that Hollywood and propaganda made Russians look wild and evil. But we are ordinary, normal people. That's why I'm here, Dimitri. That's why I enjoy it. That's why I like being here. And as I always say, if you've never visited Russia, you know nothing about Russia. And your opinion of Russia will be completely wrong. It's just fact, because mine was. Do you eat more traditional Russian cuisine or a mix of British and... a mix of taste buds, really. I wouldn't say it's traditional Russian or traditional British. Sometimes the wife does traditional Russian cuisine. And sometimes I'll do something heartedly British, I suppose, like a shepherd's pie. But most of the time it's kind of a mix of whatever I fancy, really. Yeah. And we've just bought a fire pit. And that's great fun, because I can cook stuff on it and then throw logs on it afterwards. And that's a bloke thing, we like to burn things. So I can chuck logs on it afterwards and sit around the fire pit with a glass of lemonade, or 12. And if I fall asleep, I'm still warm. probably easier for many English people to see Russians as wild people riding bears. Well, yeah. Snow bears, gangsters, vodka, horse and cart is our perception of Russia. Natalia. Hi, Chris. Hi to all the oldies of the chat. Thank you, sweetheart. What's the topic of the discussion today? Well, it's been many. Three classes in Western civilization. Money being the root. Lots of things. But I've got through my list now, so now I'm trying to catch up with some questions, and I've missed loads. Really have. How do you find Russian people? Reserved. Private. But so far, the most sincere that I've met. Ever. You can... I'll tell you how you can tell. When you meet a stranger and you have a good chat with them and a good connection, and they invite you to their home, that's how you can tell. Because in the West, we do stuff like that. Oh, you must pop round for coffee. And if you reply, oh yeah, I'm free on Saturday. Oh, I can't do Saturday. What about one day next week? Oh, give us a call. You know, it's all bullshit. It's fake. We don't want you popping round for coffee. We just want to be perceived as being a nice person. Russians don't do that. They don't do that fake bullshit. They don't do that. Oh, you must pop round for coffee sometime. Because if they do, they actually mean pop round for coffee. And if you turn around and say, oh, how about Wednesday? They'll go, yeah, that's good. Or Thursday. They won't just go, oh. And you will get complete strangers, after 5 minutes of talking to you, inviting you to their home. And I've come across that a couple of times. I met a guy that lives in Crimea. Really nice guy. And he was the first that I came across that invited me to his home. He said, when you come to Crimea, you come and see, you can come and stay with us. And I, being from the West, assumed that it was just going through the motions. But the people that he was with and my wife pointed out that no, he meant it. He genuinely meant, come and stay with me. Which was remarkable after 5 minutes of meeting. And I put a lot of stock in that because I've got probably a handful of friends in the UK. I can count on one hand that I call proper friends. But there's one in particular, and I don't wish to offend my other friends. It's not on a sliding scale. But there's one guy in particular that is like that. Genuine, true. And the first 5 minutes of meeting him, he threw me the keys to his brand new motorbike and said, yeah, take it for a spin, mate, see what you think. And that's who that person is through and through. That's not just going through emotion. And Russians are like that. They're very genuine, very sincere. That's what I like. So yeah, I find Russian people to be reserved at times, private, but genuine and sincere. Why you criticise Western countries but not Russia? Or would you be arrested for that? Joey Farr. Well, I do criticise Russia. I do say that I'm not happy with the price of cars. Which I'm not. But there isn't anything else to criticise in my eyes, from my perspective, from how I live. I'm not talking about what goes on in Moscow or anywhere else. I'm just talking about my life. And I will only compliment or criticise based on my own personal knowledge of something. And even the things that I thought were faults, like the gas pipes, when I first came here, my first reaction is, oh my God, that's awful. And if you go back through my videos, you'll see me moaning about them. Oh, they look ugly as hell. But when you realise why, and if you're open-minded, then you kind of go, oh, that's actually not a flaw, that's actually a good idea. And I like the 85 pence a month gas bill. How's your gas bill working out for you, Joey? Drinking straight vodka. Yeah, no, pass. And no, Joey, that's a common misconception that the Russian government can't be criticised because you get arrested. That's not true. There was quite a significant protest the other day, funnily enough, about the price of cars and the proposal to increase the tax on buying new cars. There was a big public protest about that. So it's a common misconception that Russia is Putin and that Putin is all-seeing, all-doing, and controls everything. It's not the case. Of course, that doesn't fit Western media narrative, and I guess guys like you know, love to look clever by regurgitating somebody else's information. Unfortunately, what you should do, mate, is work out if that information is factual first. Otherwise, you just end up looking a bit of a clown. Careful, Joey. You're right on the edge. Radium, boo, down original Damien Hirst too. I don't want to say anything about English cuisine, but Russian cuisine is much tastier and better. Russian cuisine includes Caucasian and Asian dishes, not just Indian chicken curry. I think every country has good and bad, and you'll find that whatever country you live in and whatever food you're brought up with, your taste buds develop around that. You know, the classic is going on holiday. Oh, I can't wait to get home, some good old British food, good old British pub grub, you know, that kind of mentality. But if you move abroad for a long time and that option disappears from you, you start rediscovering your taste buds. This looks like Russia. David the Ross. Nailed that shit, bro. At least I'm getting my 2-bedroom apartment sold. Hopefully I'm going from Edgbaston, Birmingham, once proud English city, and going to Scotland. That's a good shout, Chris. Yeah, Birmingham to Scotland. Yeah, if you want to remain on the island, that's not a bad shout, mate. I don't see a lot wrong with that. I love Scotland. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I will say, as an Englishman, the Scottish people are lovely. Yeah, controversial, I know. But that's been my experience. Not told that in the press though, are we? Oh, all the Scots hate the English. No, they don't. That's bullshit. Russian vodka is one of the best things invented in the world. It cheers up and helps to relax and serves as a good disinfectant. You're not really selling that, are you, Dimitri's? Kind of implying that a bottle of bleach is something good to drink. But I get your point. Get off, creature. Hollywood and the elites, both the UK and America, are unknowingly fulfilling the prophecies in the Book of Revelation and the Holy Bible. Okay. Natalia, any news about Rosie? No, sweetheart. Afraid not. Put up posters everywhere. 50,000 ruble reward for her safe return, and another 50,000 rubles on top for information as to who may have her or who's taken her. And hasn't yielded any results yet. I think it's safer in former USSR than in UK. Yeah, I mean, USSR died out a long time ago. This is Russia. But definitely, 1,000,000% it is safer here in Russia than in the UK. That's just fact, I'm sorry. You know, I know some people are going to go, oh, and they're going to balk at it. But it's just fact. And I'm speaking from 50 odd years of living in the UK. It is factually safer here in Russia than in the UK. By not just a little bit, by a country mile. Garrett Powell. Pretty good, mate. Pretty good. Oh, bit of gas. The Wildberries sign that you see is about the same as the American Amazon. Okay, interesting. DNS is a hardware and electronics store. Yep. How long being in Russia? First came here in October 2021. On holiday. Long life Russia. Okay, what's that, milk? What do you mean long live? Take the F out, mate, put a V in, Dimitri. Long live Russia, I think is what you want to say. Greetings, those Chinese cars look top tier. Are they all half electric, half gas? No. No, holy Balkans. Some and some. Some are full electric, some are hybrids, some are just petrol, some are diesel. So, yeah, all. I've got a Chinese car and it's petrol. And I love it. In my experience, British cuisine is rather bland compared to other countries. Okay, I disagree. They don't tend to use enough herbs and spices. Yeah, but sometimes you've got to let the ingredients talk for themselves. If all you're going to do is spice everything and cover everything, depends on what you're cooking, of course. You know, if you cook bland food and put bland food on a plate, then you're going to get bland food. So, but yeah, I know what you mean. Some people add herbs and spices to stuff that doesn't need herbs and spices adding to it. I've missed my zebra crossing, so I can't cross the road now. Yes, over 20 or 30 years, UK slowly turning into Islamic State. Okay. Wouldn't even call it cuisine. Yeah, I mean, it really depends where you go and what you're eating, to be honest. Oh, look at that. Just found on the ground, look. Yeah. Yes, because of the sanctions, a lot of Chinese cars are exported to Russia and in private houses. It varies, but mostly we use electricity and gas. Yes, I'm wondering if Tommy is evil. He in power whilst strong in a very sensible past when Chief CPS, yeah, know what's going on with yes. Yeah, don't wonder whether Tommy is evil. You can take that as fact. Evil personified in the shape of a Tommy. Bible forewarned. Can't read Russian. Don't care if so-called law knock on my door. Should be no price to pay for freedom of speech. George Orwell. Okay, Chris. It's a good hill to die on, as long as you're prepared to die on it. Cars are mostly use diesel and gasoline. Yep. Oh, John's full of shit, apparently. He's felt the need to broadcast that publicly. It's a shame, isn't it? That was a Russian school. God, am I that far behind? Jesus. Am I really that far behind? I need to sit down and catch up with you guys. Yes, do agree with you. It just appears that people are pawns and chessboard games. Yeah. Yeah, not so much here. Kind of free to be. Kind of like that. Yeah, I mean, you're not allowed to debate the monarchy, are you? YouTube blocked the flag of England because they're trying to form one world government and currency. Could be. I don't think there's ever going to be one currency. They tried that. Didn't work. It's been a pretty big disaster, really. So there isn't going to be a world coin, because they tried it with a euro and look where it got them. Britain certainly wasn't having none of it, and it's just been one failed experiment. So you're not going to get one world coin. What you will get is tokenisation and digital assets, and in that you will get a bridging currency or bridging currencies. So every country will still be able to retain its national currency, but they will be able to interoperate with other countries without having an exchange rate. It will just be done through the blockchain with a bridging asset like XRP, for example. Other coins available. I want to find a bench, have a little sit down, get away from the noise. Yes, shouty bloke. Yeah, I was up by the school then. Christ, I am that far behind. Yeah, no, bikes, scooters. Yeah, nobody steals them. Why would you? Yeah, most of them are left unlocked. And especially like the delivery drivers, you know, delivery riders. They'll just park outside the shops and go in and get their orders. Be in there 15, 20 minutes, leave the keys in their scooters, come out, they're still there. Chance you got of that in London? Zero. Yes, shouty bloke. Yeah, over 160 ethnicities, I believe. But yeah, you're right. I'm not trying to split hairs. It does work, because everybody's treated equally, treated fairly. You may not necessarily like the rules, I guess, but at least they're the same for everyone. Tahik, yeah. Russians treat other nationalities well, support and develop a culture and give a culture to us. Mm-hmm. Greetings, son of Byzantine. If I had global influence and money meant nothing, what would you do? Well, money does mean nothing to me. Case in point, I actually put on the flyer for our cat, the 50,000 ruble reward. I actually put on there, family is everything, money is nothing. Because that is my belief, that is my philosophy. And some might say it's very easy for you to have that philosophy if you're rich. I would argue it's very easy to have that philosophy if you've got integrity. And I'm not rich. So, yeah. I would wogboy. What would I do? I wouldn't do anything other than live my life how I've lived it, how I continue to live it. You know, being kind to people, treat them how you want to be treated, delete negative people out of your life, you know, in a heartbeat, in a blink of an eye, because you don't need them. And yeah, just try and be happy. Just try and wake up and look at the world you live in and just smile. And if you can't do that, then the world you're living in, the job or the house or the street or the town, isn't the right place for you, and you need to move. You need to move to find your happiness. I have. You didn't fight with Britain against Germany. You were allied with Germany for the majority of World War II. Okay, boob. booby. Free the UK. Yeah. Agreeing not to put any military bases on the Russian. Yeah. Bloody hell, bloody hell. Trump is my lord. Okay, mate. Morons are governing America. Oh, I saw what you did there. Which city is safe in Russia? I can't really comment on cities because I haven't been to any. I've been to Moscow and I didn't have any issues in Moscow. Went out for dinner. The waiter spoke perfect English, was very polite. Wandered around the city for 6 hours. Everybody was very polite, I interacted with. I've been to Krasnodar quite a few times, again, same scenario. Very polite, very clean, very safe. But they're the only cities. I'm living in a rural village. I love shepherd's pie. I love shepherd's pie and cottage pie. Both in equal measure, and I really don't care which. Most people don't know the difference. Irving, hello Chris, just got here. Any update on the kitty? No mate, I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not. Wish there was. Safest city in Russia has 0 black people. Okay, Medic Chester, if you say so. Question Rose in a few minutes, yeah. Russians don't tolerate refugees and immigrants. Wrong. Completely wrong. Okay, thank you. Hey brother, you heard of Tommy Robinson? Yeah. Evil personified. Not really familiar with Greek music. Aussie Spy, no channel name. Most cities in Russia are safe. It all comes down to how you portray yourself to others, whether you have problems or not. True. Yeoman, how's your day? Very good, thank you. How's yours? Let's just get rid of a couple of people. I like to get rid of people that are just a waste of time, because then I don't see them again. And by that, I just mean people that talk, just type in something rubbish. Scottish people are lovely. I was locked up with a Scottish murderer, no lies, nicest guy I've ever met. Boom. Many still want you to believe all Scots are like Ramsay Nesbitt. No, not at all. Yeah, I know a few, and they're cracking people. Where are you, mate? What country? Russia. Plastic Russian. What about a crazy Russian? What about a white Russian? I do like them. I like them too much. That's the problem. How much is 50,000 rubles in US dollars? $600, something like that, maybe. Andrew _ Tate. What is your perspective regarding the meaning of life? The meaning of life by whose definition? I think everybody has a different meaning of life, don't they? The meaning of life is different for everyone. My meaning of life is what I said earlier. Find your happiness and enjoy it. Which town are you in? Gostogoyevskaya, southern Russia. Do they drive on the same side of the road as the US? I haven't been to America, but I believe so. You drive on the right. Have I been to Novosibirsk? No. Too cold. No, I might do at some point in my life, but sort of too busy really with the area that we live in at the moment, exploring that. XRP, brother. So the steering wheel's on the right. No, steering wheel's on the left. Interesting info about, although there are a lot of right-hand drive cars here as well. Interesting info about Russian coins that very few people know. The design changed several times. When Russia was under Western elites, the eagle was stripped of all decor with its wings down. Okay. Found 2 rubles. Drinks on you, Mr. Plastic. Drinks are always on me, son. Nice sidewalk. Looks like a lovely place to live. This is the main road into the village, and I'm just sat in a bus stop at the moment, trying to catch up with the chat. Trump, blah blah. But after we paid our debts to the Roman Club and so on, we got back all the deck on wings. Okay. You can compare it on later, Chris. Okay. Cool. USA. Brother, Siberia has the most gold deposits in the world, I hear. I don't know. Aussie spy and from British city bankers elites. I see YouTube people, giant gold nuggets in Siberia. Okay. I'll take your word for that. America. Did I hear of all that trouble in Dublin last night? No. You've got to remember, you will all be Islamic soon enough. Money issues won't matter. Okay, mate. Back-to-back World War champs. Yeah, right. If you're talking about America, just because you turn up at the end of something doesn't mean that you did it. I'll go out on the road, dog. What are you doing in Russia? Just interested? Living my best life. You know, that's a generalisation. Not right this second, I'm sat in a bus stop, but yeah, eating good food, mixing with good people, living in a good society, crime-free, lovely weather. Yeah. He's not doing whatever he wants, obviously. Is he not? Well, I am. Pardon my French, F the USA, the warmongering government, that is. Normal people from the USA are nice people. Oh, there. Only traitors go to Russia. See you later. Bye-bye, flag-waving moron. Oh, okay, why did you retire to Russia? Because it's lovely. I came here on holiday. Fell in love with the country, the people, the food, the weather, the culture, the safety, the healthcare, everything. Chrisman, I've definitely got to make you a moderator. You can delete some of these muppets. He's gone. Why did you retire to Russia? Unusual choice. Most people go to Spain. Well, most people go to Spain, I guess, because they think that's their only option. And they think, the thing is, the expats that go to Spain go there because it's England, just hot. That's all. You know, every waiter speaks English. You've got your Irish pubs, your English pubs, your English cafes to have your breakfast. That's why people go to Spain. Lazy. I came to Russia, which was probably the last destination I expected to come to, because I came here on holiday and then went, oh my God, and then told the wife that I wanted to move here, which she was happy about, albeit very surprised. But yeah, that's why we came to Russia. Because I said so. So you escaped the UK then? Sure did. Gold price is going up to 4k an ounce. Already passed, I'm afraid. Siberia has insane amount of gold deposits. Yeah, we've done that. Trump. Yeah, I can't be doing with that. Yeah, I like cottage pie too. We have our own sheep. Nice. Poor old Dolly. Getting the chop when you get hungry. Why is Tommy evil? What exactly has he done that is wrong? Tommy derangement syndrome? No, not at all. I just, you can tell at a glance when cheese is mouldy. Oh, there you go. You've revealed yourself. You always do. Can't be civil for long. These libtards, they have to degenerate into abuse. She's fine. Do you have a Russian driving licence? No, I don't. Looks like you're still enjoying the Russian life. Glad for you. Yep, I sure am. Let's have a wander up to the petrol station. We can look at the queues for petrol and the massive price increases. Hey doggy, you got a hurt leg? Poor thing, hopping along with a wobbly leg. Brits living in Russia, yep. Russians on American YouTube, you're as bad, you're giving money to YouTube, I love this, be careful, can be a spy. Fucking idiot. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Begging America is tipping. Yeah. Let me bloody tell you, Russia looks a lot better than the UK. Glad you're happy. Sophie? Yeah. Very happy. And I would agree with that statement. What the hell is squashbuckle? Do you mean swashbuckle? Not squash. Swash. Swashbuckler. Go back to the days of yore. Swashbucklers. Yeah. Cads. Yeah, anyhow. Poor woman. What woman? Why would you want to move there? Hey, dog. Rob Perez has come out. Bless him. Hope he told his mum first. Russia looks depressing. Okay. Fair play, mate. Wish you all the best from London. Thank you, Jonathan. Almost looks like a town in the US. Why would you downgrade this? David, it's not a downgrade, mate. That's the thing. How can it be a downgrade if everything is better apart from the price of cars? The weather's better. The food's better. The people are better. There's no crime. The healthcare is better. And not just by a bit. I mean by a country freaking mile. The cost of living is better. So, how can it be a downgrade? I'll let you work that one out, mate. This place looks sad, like where animals are killed. Oh, well, okay. Off you go. Communist values are not what England needs. We're the last stand against the takeover. You are definitely not the last stand, I'm afraid. Rob, you've already come out, mate. He's reading the past chats, so stop chatting. What do you find good about Russia? Anton, everything. And I know that's just a sweeping statement, but it's true, mate, everything. As I say many times, the only thing I don't like is the price of cars. They're expensive. But the positive to that, if there is that they hold their value. So it's not like, you know, in the West where you get rinsed for a brand new BMW and then 3 months later it's lost a third of its value. That doesn't happen here. You'll get rinsed for a brand new car. But to give you an idea, our last car, we pretty much got our money back on it after 18 months. And getting a crack in the windscreen, getting a bit of body damage, bald tyres, and still pretty much got our money back for it. So, let's see if I can zoom in on the... As you can see, the petrol station is operating normally. Lorries and cars filling up. There you go. And there isn't a massive queue. You can see through the trees there's nothing waiting. And there's the price. Same as it was the other day. Right. Yes, Sophie, you're right. You really think the UK is good? Get gone. Dog just about to discover some road sense the hard way by the looks of it. Refrigerator William, have you? Okay. Waste of space, the UK. Shouty bloke, love it. You can tell at a glance when cheese is mouldy. Well, you can, can't you? I was thinking of going to Alaska to do some gold prospecting. Okay. Looks like the US. Okay. Can't be civil. The calls people lizards. So civil. Okay. Whatever. Oh, look at the doggo. Yeah. A few doggos wandering around, Sophie. No, he's already gone. They have a dog in Russia. Yeah. And cats. I bet it's nice there. The people are strong too. Sure are. Tough people. You can feel it in the air. Yes, Sophie, you get it all the time. You know. Brother, you should try and get permission to mine gold in Siberia. Or not. Just saying. England is being bullied by globalists. We need loyalty. Good luck though. Bliat. You need some moderators to get rid of these absolute weirdos. Yeah, I'll get to them. Slow but sure. No crime and healthcare better. Hysterical. Well, I'm sorry, Joey. That shatters your illusion, but it's a fact. It doesn't really bother me if you believe it or not, and if you don't believe it and you're going to make comments like that, what are you doing here? I'll get to you, I'm sure, because once you start down that path of being a knob, I'm sure you're going to continue it like they all do. But it's not hysterical, it's fact. I mean, maybe you find fact hysterical, but it is a fact. The healthcare is light years in front of the UK. Light years. Not even in the same ballpark. Go and have a look at my videos about healthcare. You know, when I came here, I needed an operation in the UK. I was scheduled for surgery. Well, I haven't had surgery since I've been here because I got treated. In the UK, there was no treatment. It was just surgery. So, yeah, don't start me on healthcare, mate. You have no clue what you're talking about. And the same with the crime. It's crime-free. Russia thriving, UK barely surviving. Yeah. Natalia, just ignore them by clicking on the three dots and blocking them. Yeah, that's the easy option. They won't see the messages anymore. We've got an incoming wave of trolls. Yeah, that's right. I'll just delete them slowly but surely. Weather is overall better in all of Europe. Is it? Okay. Hooligan. Stop banging on about Siberia. I'm bored now. Wow, another one of your guys. You're pulling up fast now. New propaganda wave, then, huh? How much are they paying you? Oh, Benjamin says it all, doesn't it? Bye. Let me catch up again. Need some moderators. Russia flying. Weather is overall better. So it flicks up when I delete somebody. I cannot understand why people do not see how beautiful a country Russia is. All these people are delusional. Sophie, you just have to roll with it. You know. And they're the sort of people that will only repeat what they've read in the paper or watched on their TV. And they think they're worldly wise. They think they're clever and they're not. They're just puppet, you know, they're just repeating. There's nothing clever about that. Anyone can do that. They haven't got any thoughts of their own. Right, hooligan, go. Bored with banging on about Siberia. Smiles away. It's okay if you like being poor. What, in the UK? Can't listen to you anymore, wish you well. Yeah, bye Joey. Dos vidania. Natalia, Sophie. There's a positive side to it. We don't have all these migrant waves coming in and destroying the good that we have. Yeah, true. Russia would be great if they got rid of their leaders. Okay. Russia is great because of its leader, you muppet. And gone. It's because he talks the truth, Joey. True story. Guess what people know? China more than Russia because it's almost ignored. Yeah, Natalia, that's the truth. At least have a grip on all that. We don't. Russia have low oil prices. They should have. They produce oil. Correct. Yeah, I did the right thing by deleting that muppet. People don't like amazing. The truth, plastic Russian hurts in a world of lies. It does. Hi from Norway. Thank you for sharing this view. I will follow your channel. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Spin you guys around. You can look at the petrol station for a minute. See if it's working or not. Of course it is, because why wouldn't it? Hi to Norway from St. Pete. Russia is not richer than the UK. Well, depends how you define rich. Culturally, yep. Spiritually, yep. Yeah. Monetarily, well, I would argue that people in Russia have a better quality of life. Yes, mainstream media indeed. No different. We spend too much on immigrants and a lot of delusional. Putin is the best. Jonathan. Privyet, I guess. Privyet. Здравствуйте. Same in US. Good morning from Nashville, Tennessee. He's a Poundland socialist dictator. His sabre rattling with Putin is hilarious, like an ant threatening a tiger. That's a true story. Oh, David Dillon. Duh, bye. Well, that's cool. I've caught up with the chat. And I know I missed a load. I'm really sorry. But you guys ran away with me for a while. Oh, sun's out. I could go wandering up there, but honestly, I'm hungry. So I'm going to go home. That's a new development been built over there. I've done a couple of videos from it. They're all brand new houses over the back of there. Poor economy, eh? Well, guys, thank you. Thank you for joining me on my wandering, my rant, my earlier tirade. I went on a mission. But I'm heading home now. I'm going to go and get something to eat. It's lovely and hot. Must be 20 odd degrees today. Nice. Yeah, so as always, I'm humbled by your presence. And you always get trolls. Bothered. But thanks for joining me. Please like, please share, please subscribe if you haven't already. Sharing is useful. Gets new people to view the channel. It helps with the algorithm. Put in a comment. You know, tomorrow when this live stream becomes a video, YouTube does that automatically. So all of my live streams are watchable 24 hours later. If you treat it as a video then and put a comment, that helps as well. So, yeah, good, bad or indifferent, it all helps. But thanks for joining me. Thanks for the questions, good and the bad. And until next time, see you in the next one.